detectives and his sidekick made their living investigating crimes around London, England. Like a good Sherlock Holmes novel, the city of London itself is full of intrigue, history, and some hidden secrets. And that brings me to my next guest. He's written an interesting tourist guide to London based on Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson's exploits. Thomas Bruce Wheeler joins me this midday to talk about the project. Good to see you. How's everything?
Thank you, Terrence.
Now, this really was a project for you. 18 months, you say you just kind of threw yourself into this thing.
Yes. This is my new book is really a redo of an earlier book. So the new one, 18 months. I probably had put maybe a year into the first episode. But the first one identified 200 sites, and then I got thinking, I can do better than this. So I went back to the source material, which are the Sherlock Holmes fans call the Conan Doyle stories the canon. It's almost like a religion. So I went back to the canon, went through each story, of which there were 60, and identified the London sites. Because I already had London expertise. I knew London fairly well. So I was able to take the 60 stories, identify the 300 sites in story context, and identify the nearest modern underground station.
Wow. Now, how closely related are the current sites to what are laid out in the original books?
Well, some of them haven't changed much at all. Others have changed drastically. But I mean, if you go, say, on Whitehall, where the government offices are, to the Foreign Office, that's the same building that was there when Sherlock Holmes was there. The new Scotland Yard that he knew, the building is still there. Scotland Yard has moved to a new Scotland Yard. But the old building is still there, the Sherlock.
So the building is still there, it just doesn't house the same offices.
Right. But the Foreign Office is still the Foreign Office.
Wow.
The Houses of Parliament, the same. Big Ben, the same.
Talk about some of the more unique things that you lay out in the book, some of the more unique sites. And then put them into context for me, excuse me, in terms of their significance in Sherlock Holmes novels. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I've identified in the book is the true location of 221B Baker Street. Now, if you go over there, there is a Sherlock Holmes museum that over the door says 221B. That is really their company name. The address is 239.
And that, of course, is significant, and that was his apartment, correct? His laboratory, is that right?
That's where he lived, he and Watson. But in one of the stories, he lays out a route to an empty house. The mystery is called the Empty House. It's Camden House. And when they got in there, and Holmes and Sherlock looked across the street, there was 221B. So by that instruction, I can tell you that 221B was really at today's 31 Baker Street.
Wow. You know, you actually are solving your own mysteries in this. I mean, you're taking this mythical, this fictional character, and this fictional story, and quite literally transforming it into a real-life adventure for yourself.
Well, I've set up the book so that if people were Sherlock Holmes fan and go to London, you can go by story and find the sites from your favorite adventure, or if you're in a part of town that you hadn't been before, at a particular underground station, I've listed all of the Sherlock Holmes sites within walking distance of that station.
There are people who are saying, that sounds like a whole lot of fun, but who has the time to do that, and why would anyone do that?
Well, once you're retired, you have plenty of time.
And so that is your answer. You were retired. This became your retirement project, huh?
Yes. Well, the nice thing about Sherlock Holmes, though, there are new Sherlock Holmes fans being born every day. And one of the interesting things about, as far as book publishing, if you go to the travel shelves for London, you'll see that there's a 2009 book, London guidebook. But the minute January the 1st, 2010 comes up, those books are no good. They have to update them because nobody's going to buy a 2009 if there's a 2010 sitting there. My book is good forever because I'm identifying sites of 100 years ago, over 100 years ago. And they're going to be there 100 years from now.